Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Corner Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for AuburnSports.com. Today is Thursday, January the 8th, 2025. For you, it is Wednesday evening, January the 7th, 2026. For us, hey, we're a year ahead of them. It's 2026, you eats. I think I said 2025 on the show last night. Last night being Sunday, Tuesday night. Anyways, it is, y'all know what year it is. I don't, but 2026, we got a fantastic show for you tonight. We're going to try to get everybody kind of caught up on what's going on in the transfer portal. We're going to talk about some visits, some targets, some signings, and some big signings for Auburn this week already, and some possibly on the way. Here to do it with me, as they always are, 100% of the time. When I look up on this monitor and I see their smiling faces, they're here. How about you, Mr. Cole Pinkston and Sir Alan Head? How about you?
How we doing tonight, guys? You know what?
Let me tell you what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic because I can read those letters behind your right shoulder.
Oh, look at you calling me out. I kind of like it though, dude.
Who was that credit to? Was it Bo? Bo from Mobile.
It was Bo from Mobile. You remember we've had a lot of Bo's, right? We had a Bo from Moody for a while.
Yeah. Do you have a Maker's Mark bottle back there?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what you do with them letters, Alan?
What's that?
Flip. Hey.
That bottle does cause Darren, isn't it?
Let's see here. Let me give everybody a quick rundown of where things stand as far as Auburn and the transfer portal. Who has committed so far? Who has committed so far? Not all of these guys have been announced by Auburn University as signings, but there's some. They've got a system that they're doing it the way they want to do it. So we'll just go on who has publicly announced their intentions to transfer to Auburn, starting with the two most important guys that I personally think. You've got quarterback Byron Brown, and then Wednesday morning we got the news that Stanton Ramil, the projected starting left tackle. So you've got the quarterback and your left tackle committed. Both of those guys I thought were huge. Let me just run on the list. We'll come back to those guys. Jeremiah Coker, wide receiver, is coming in. Nakai, is that right, Cole? Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Nakai Davenport. I haven't asked him his name today, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll never forget that. Running back, tight end Jonathan Eccles, another wide receiver in Chaz Nimrod. Is Fred Gaskin a second safety or cornerback?
More of a safety, but plays nickel.
I was going to say he's going to play the star, and he'll probably play some boundary safety for you. I think he'll kind of rotate very similarly to a piece that you just lost in Kinsley Faustin. Now, I don't know that he's quite as versatile as Kinsley, because Kinsley could also give you snaps at the corner spot, but he's going to kind of fill that role.
Christian Neptune, another wide receiver. Xavier Newsom from Howard coming over with Larry Scott to play tight end.
Yeah.
Lachlan Hewlett, quarterback coming in from USF, the backup quarterback down there, or I guess it was third string. Gavin Jenkins is my cornerback, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Gavin Jenkins, and then Corey Pettigrew and Hudson Powell round out the list. A couple of guys that we're continuing to monitor extremely closely. If they haven't already announced by the time this is published, we're keeping an eye on Keyshawn Singleton, a stud wide receiver from USF. We're keeping an eye on interior offensive lineman Cole Skinner, starting interior lineman for USF, as well as Cody Sigler, defensive tackle from Arkansas State, who visited Auburn earlier this week, took a trip to Mississippi State. Things seem to be trending back towards Auburn. So those three guys we're keeping an eye on, and I'm trying to think. As far as visits goes, we don't want to forget about Joseph Simmons, the big dog tackle from James Madison. We don't want to forget about Grant Segrin. Was he from Oklahoma State?
Yes.
By way of Nebraska, yes.
By way of Nebraska. I'm trying to think of guys who Tedra. Tedra from Ohio State. Let me look at his name, and I'll pronounce it absolutely correctly every time. No, I asked.
It's like Tega, but with an R. Tegra.
What did I say?
Tegra
Tishabola from Ohio State. Big dog interior offensive lineman. Golly, he's pretty. He visited Auburn. We had a story up on him Thursday morning. So definitely don't sleep on him. He said a lot of the right things that you would want him to when he left. Very impressive, very complimentary of the staff of Coach Hoodie, Tyler Hoodenick, Alex Golesh. A lot of great things to say about everybody there at Auburn. And I'm looking over, make sure I'm not forgetting anybody that has visited already. Randy Pittman, tight end from Florida State.
Yeah, he's casting a little bit of a wide net right now. It feels
Right.
like he's visited Purdue, SMU, now on the way to South Carolina, I think.
Yeah.
So that he may be coming to the end here relatively soon. So you may see a decision there.
Auburn definitely likes him. They really want to add two more experienced tight ends. So you've got two guys committed in Jonathan Eccles and Xavier Newsom, both with at least 3 years to play. So you're looking at sophomores at the eldest. So they really want to bring in some guys to help balance out that room. Randy Pittman has got 1 year to play. Another guy we're tracking there is Donovan Green. He has 1 year to play. So a lot going on. And listen, I want everybody to understand this. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes than what we are privy to.
Yes.
Not only of what we're privy to, but what we're privy to relay. And if you followed recruiting, you kind of get what I'm saying. Is that we're able to get information that others aren't.
Yeah.
Because we're willing to hold some information that others would not. So just know that just because you're not seeing some things doesn't mean it's not happening. If that makes any sense.
Makes a ton of sense. Look, I don't think there's anybody in the industry, from what little bit I've learned in the last 3 years of just being in the podcast world, right? You have to be able to speak to people on background to get a full understanding of the picture of what it is that you're trying to report on. And you can't always compromise those sources by trying to be the one to go first and break news. If you do that, good luck to you, my man. You're probably not going to be long for this industry. It just doesn't work that way.
I wanted to talk about defensive line, and we can kind of go through. Matter of fact, Zach, I'm going to pull this up, and let's just go through the target tracker. For those who aren't members of auburnsports.com, you can kind of get a taste of what you're going to get every day, just kind of a rundown of what's going on in the transfer world as far as commitments and, targets, visit dates, and all that. Let me make sure we see. Okay, here we go. All right. Cody Sigler, as you can see above here, Devin Tompkins has been removed. Marion Thomas has been removed. Cody Sigler, Sadiq Clemens, Armel Mukan, Tomiwa Durejaya.
Cole, give us that,
that
pronunciation, please.
Tomiwa Durajaye.
Durajaye.
Or Durajai. It's one of those two.
Durajai. Oh, yeah, one of the two. Damn sure ain't Durajai.
Like 2.5 years ago, you nailed it, Jeffrey. You nailed it.
Did I really?
We're back at square one.
Dude, this guy visited a couple years ago?
He did. When he was transferring from West Virginia, he visited.
Yes. Yeah, it's because he transferred from West Virginia to Florida State, but stopped by, took a visit. I think Auburn actually felt well at one point.
Yeah.
That he could join.
That was one of those years where you had the two transfer windows, which we don't do that anymore.
God.
And he was a youngster, and it didn't really fit the profile of what they were bringing in at the time, because it was like you just need like two old guys, two veterans to bridge the gap for your youngins coming in, and then they bring this guy, and you're like, okay. So he's kind of a future prospect. That's interesting. And it didn't work out at the time for Auburn, even though they did like him. He's bounced around now from Florida State to Illinois, where he's transferred from Illinois now. And I put a note on the board Tuesday night that I definitely think Auburn's going to have interest there, and he's on your board now. So,
and if you'll notice the numbers on these guys, this is what I was talking about earlier. Don't look at this list and go, these are the only guys Auburn is recruiting. They're going to have a big transfer defensive line class. There's some guys that are going to visit that you might not know about. There are going to be guys that already have visited that you might not know about. So keep the freaking out to a minimum. That's not too much to ask. But we're expecting a big defensive line class. We're thinking that Cody Sigler, if he hasn't already by the time this comes out, is trending back towards Auburn and an announcement could come at any time. I tell you what, fellas, Ed just kind of got us all confused.
That's the one, right? And Jordan Ross is somebody that Cole reported on last night. Jeffrey, I think your reporting would probably reflect, or it would track with what Cole had put out there the other night. But that is an interesting name, specifically when you have Tim Banks on this staff, defensive coordinator at Tennessee for the last 4 years. Ross obviously was recruited by Tim Banks and that defensive staff, so some connection there. Is he from Vestavia? Is that where he's from originally?
Vestavia Hills, yep.
From Vestavia Hills, so Birmingham, Alabama would be a coming home for him of sorts. And he's I had a kind of a mixed feel on him in his tape in high school. I felt like he lacked a little bit of physicality, in full disclosure. But watching what he's been able to do at Tennessee, his body's really kind of started to mature. He shows or flashes some good pass rush at times. I don't think he's got like stats that make your eyes pop, but when you watch him play, it seems like he's starting to kind of come into his own, and he would be a prospect that would be a junior and would make a lot of sense given the depth chart, kind of layering it out somewhat, because you got Joe Phillips that would be a redshirt sophomore, contingent on what side Jared Smith plays on. He could be a freshman or a sophomore. Did he play enough snaps to lose his red shirt?
Yeah, he burned it. So he's a sophomore. I actually have the roster chart pulled up here.
Nice. JJ Falk also in that mix.
JJ Falk's in there. I'll say this. I think he could end up moving down, actually.
I agree with that, to the 5-tech spot.
That's all going to – but there's a lot of these moves I've heard about, but I really think that it's dependent on what they get from the portal. And there's just not – you've said it before, Alan. There's just not a lot of premium edges out there. That's a hard one to get. That's why you're scratching your head right now. You're going, well, where are they at exactly? Who's the guy? Jordan Ross, I mean, he's going to visit some other places other than if he even makes it to Auburn right now. It's up in the air. We just know Auburn's going to have interest. It's just that's a tough one, man. And they got to – not only do they have to get guys, look at what it was a year ago. You're trying to replace that production, and I just don't see them doing it at this position. I hope to be wrong there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think they just offered a kid out of Coastal Carolina. I'm searching for the name right now. It seems to be somebody that they like a little bit, and I know this is bad podcasting. I will pick that name up here shortly and make sure that I drop it in. But you're right, Cole. Maybe you're just going to have to develop somebody at that position. Maybe you've already got your future buck. The fear is that you don't have enough depth right now. I think that's all kind of the focus. You've got some really good young pieces that you like, but if you have an injury or two, where does that leave you? And so you still have to have functional depth back behind them. So who are you going to be able to plug in? Maybe it's going to be a career journeyman. Maybe it's going to be somebody a little bit better. I don't know. But I'm with Jeffrey in that I feel safe that Auburn's going to try to attack this through numbers, and it may not be somebody that we all know. It may not be somebody we've ever heard of, but I feel comfortable saying they're going to add somebody at that position.
Here you go, Alan. Ezekiel Durham Campbell.
There you go. That's the one.
Coastal Carolina reported an Auburn offer.
Yes.
Who is this?
Ezekiel Durham Campbell.
What position?
DNOLB is what he says on his.
Okay.
Yeah. See, he's a buck. I saw that last night. Kind of did some checking around on that one. It seems like our new outside linebacker Bucks coach likes him a little bit. So we're going to see if he ends up coming in.
Well, see, and that was what I was going to say about my trackers is I try to keep this to like visitors, like legit guys, right? I mean, we could probably go through every transfer announcement and put guys on the list, but I'm try to keep this as priority guys. And I haven't heard anybody else. So when a guy's like getting a public offer or he's announcing that he might visit or these guys are included, that's when I like to add these guys. Otherwise we could have, 15 names per position and a lot of fluff is what we call it.
I agree. And that's why I brought his name up, because I saw it was a public offer that he announced.
Yeah. Tell me his name again.
Ezekiel Durham Campbell. He is from Atlanta, Georgia, Marietta. I think he's already taken a visit to Michigan too. So
At Coastal, right?
Coastal Carolina. Yeah.
Okay. He's definitely a guy that I'll be adding to the tracker then. Those are the kind of guys I want to see on here. Jordan Ross is visiting LSU, and I think Pete Nakos reported that he's going to Alabama after that.
Yeah.
I will say that I checked into Jordan Ross on Wednesday, and the price tag was going to be extremely high. So I don't know how to feel about that. I don't have a lot of confidence in Auburn right now for Jordan Ross, but we'll see if anything changes over the next couple of days. Linebacker is kind of like we could throw some names out. I could see Auburn taking 0. I could see Auburn taking 1 or 2, depending on what happens the rest of the way. I have not heard anybody's name worth mentioning. Have y'all?
No, not that position is just in such good shape for Auburn right now.
It really is.
The only one that I'm tracking is a former Texas A&M linebacker that was recruited by DJ Durkin in the 2023 class by the name of Tristan Jernigan. That is the name that I'm tracking right now. He makes a little bit of sense for me in that he would be in the class, technically speaking, if you're trying to create some separation for yourselves. He would be in the class above your star Mike linebacker right now. So you would kind of pair him. And it would be similar to the situation of the guy, the young man you brought in last year, a guy that DJ scouted, tried to sign out of high school. He actually signed this one. As Texas A&M was getting fired, DJ still was able to keep him committed through that. So he's someone that I'm paying attention to, but no public offer has been rendered. There's just a loose connection there, but that's a name that I'm tracking just to see if something develops on that front.
As far as a cornerback goes, you have a signee in Gavin Jenkins. And then we're keeping eyes on Ricky Gibson, who was expected to visit Auburn on Wednesday. Did not show. I don't think there's a lot of panic as far as that goes. He still could visit, but I don't think I think some people thought that one was going to be a slam dunk with the relationships behind the scenes, but we'll see how that one plays out. We had a Javon Thomas from A&M. He's an older guy. He came in for a visit on Wednesday, according to some On3 folks. And then Dwight Boodle from Charlotte I think he's announced intentions to visit, or either that he has an offer.
He has an offer, and he was on my guys that made sense when I was writing those before it opened, because he has a prior relationship with DeMarcus Van Dyke.
Okay, there you go. Safety, you got Fred Gaskin signed. You're probably going to maybe look for another one. This Carmelo O'Neal announced an offer. I think he said he told somebody he was going to visit maybe after the dead period. I think Rice DP brought this up on the board.
Yeah.
So maybe he's a summer guy. That's the only thing I can think of. Trying to think of, do you really need any more than 1 to 2 safeties with Eric coming back, with New Boy coming back?
I think it probably depends at that spot. If you're going to the 105, how many scholarships do you have available? And are you trying to acquire depth pieces for practice, special teams, things like that? And typically speaking, a versatile safety, a young guy particularly, I think he was a true freshman this past year. Am I correct on that?
That sounds right.
I think so.
I think he was a true freshman this past year. So you've still got a lot of time there with him. If you like the upside of the player, since you're going to the 105 scholarships, maybe it makes sense to bring in a developmental piece with a high upside. That's kind of what I'm thinking with that one.
They just have so much wiggle room, for that. And there's no reason not to try to get some guys like that. Like you've already gotten Gavin Jenkins, you've gotten Corey Pettigrew, our young guys. Xavier Newsome, I think he probably fits into that. Just what I would call a future prospect, somebody that's going to have to develop for a while. I don't know if this guy's that. I haven't watched him yet. Obviously, he played against Auburn. That would be something to look at. But he's young, so that probably fits the Zach says he's a sophomore, can play corner, played over 600 snaps at corner for Mercer.
Wow.
So he's somebody that's got some interest for that. And, I mean, look, I got the roster tracker at 69 scholarships right now. If you can go to 105, my goodness.
let's play a game here. Let's go. First of all, let's go by position and tell me what you think is going to be the number left that they want to take, and then where do you think they'll actually land? Like, how close to the 105 do you think they're going to get without just basically giving some walk-ons that are already on the roster scholarships?
I think they will land between 90 and 100.
I was going to say 90, 95.
I don't think they get to 105.
I don't either. Not with dudes.
No. And
not with names.
Even if they don't, they still have tons of wiggle room.
Well, I'm thinking if we're right, let's just say they're at 70 right now, right? And you're going to add probably 15 to 20 more.
I would think I think we've talked offline, and the number we thought they had to get to was somewhere between 25 and 30 portable additions. That was kind of where we drew the line at. And realistically, the closer to 30 you get, the better you're going to feel.
Yeah. So I would be around 90.
I think that's fair.
I'd be around 90.
I'd push it to 95 just because I think they are going to take.
I wouldn't argue with you. Yeah.
5 to 7 future prospects that they think can develop and be really good players.
Well, hey, before we get to we're going to run down the offense as well, but before we do, want to thank Brunt, our sponsor this week. You know how we feel. Hey, listen, Brunt workwear. I have had a lot of people, man. We've been selling some boots, big dog. I got the Marins. I think, who was it? I can't remember who it was, but they've been using our promo code, man.
I believe
if you're not
from Costanza, Jeffrey.
Was it
Pena? It's Pena, but it has a picture of George Costanza.
All right, Pena, big dog. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Absolutely. Brunt thought that was bull crap. BS. I guess it's BC. So they built tough boots that feel great from day one. No break-in, no sore feet. And that's exactly what Pena said. They were ready to – he came out of the box ready to go. People because people are out there doing the real work, shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. No doubt the most comfortable work boots I've ever worn. Cole can attest that every time he's seen me since I got my Brunts, I've had them on. I've got them on at work. I've got them on the tractor. If I'm going out, I got my Brunts on. And right now, for a limited time, our listeners get $10 off Brunt when you use the promo code War Eagle at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com, use the promo code War Eagle, and you're good to go. Again, don't forget now. Go to Brunt Workwear. Use the promo code War Eagle to check out and tell them where you found us. Tell them where you found it. You found it right here, auburnsports.com. The Corner Calling Show. I'm sorry, the Corner Recruiting Show. Damn, I'm off my game. Let's get back on this. All right, fellas. Let's do offense. Let's do offense. Boom. Because there's been a lot of additions here, and understandably so. Listen, I talked to Josh Newberg Tuesday. It was Wednesday. And I was using a lot of the points that y'all made about bringing in these guys. And I tell you what, man, we're talking about USF guys and bringing all these guys from USF. And we talked about the culture and the knowledge. And, every USF guy you're bringing in on offense is another teacher for these guys that are already here at Auburn. The teachers, the number of teachers. But I also loved the interviews that we have with the visitors, and they make note of that. Like, it says a lot about this coaching staff for these guys to want to be with them and to follow them and want to stay with them and continue playing them and learn under them. So, and when you look at the offensive board, which we're about to, you'll understand why we're talking about all these guys staying on it with the staff.
Sure. And I mean, all you got to do, if you want to look at something like the polar opposite of what's happened underneath Alex Golesh so far, look at Brian Harsin. How many kids from Boise came to Auburn?
Zero.
So what does that tell you about maybe how they felt about Brian Harsin?
And then didn't somebody say Hugh brought one? I don't even remember who it was.
Yeah, it was Steve Sings.
Yeah, it was Steven Sings.
I think it was actually a year later too, I believe. A year after he took the job, Steve Sings came in from Liberty.
He never did sing or holler. Quarterbacks, man. We've seen Reese Brush. They flipped him from USF there before signing day. He's your true freshman coming in. Lachlan Hewlett, who was second or third string for USF, I think he got some mop up duty there as a true freshman. So he'll be but he ended up redshirting. He'll be a redshirt freshman. You've got Byron Brown, who's coming in as I think he's a fourth or fifth year. He's a senior. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. And first of all, I think they still want to keep Deuce Knight.
Yes. If at all possible, right?
If at all possible, they're doing whatever they can to keep Deuce Knight. There are conversations ongoing. There were communication. There were meetings as recent as Wednesday with Deuce Knight. So they are, despite him being in the transfer portal, they are absolutely trying their damnedest to keep him on the team. However, you have to continue to recruit as if he's not. And I think it was late Tuesday night that Tristan Tia announced he would be visiting Auburn this weekend. He's scheduled to arrive. Well, I guess Thursday is when he is scheduled to arrive. Cole, keep an eye on that one. I forgot about him.
Yes. Yeah. I almost get the feeling that, correct me if I'm wrong, I may be. Do you think they could go as far as 5 quarterbacks here?
I don't see why they couldn't.
If they can get somebody to do it, it was like Hugh Freeze last year with 3. It was like it was amazing to me that he got Ashton Daniels to come to be a backup.
I know, which that worked out for Ashton in the end.
Absolutely, and good for them for leaving him that redshirt year.
I agree. That was a classy move by DJ to make sure that he went to Ashton to say, hey, what do you want to do? And now Ashton's getting an opportunity to probably earn 7 figures at Florida State and potentially start his senior season. And we'll see what comes of that. But, I think it would be tough to replicate that. I've talked about that with a couple of different people. I even had that on the board today where I said, it would be ideal if you could find somebody like that. But is that even feasible, right? To come in knowing that they're going to sit behind a guy that's a 3-year starter in this offense.
I think it's probably not very feasible. And I think that, a lot of things here. Number one, it's not feasible. Number two, Deuce Knight is a guy that really fits their system.
He does, doesn't he?
I think you said that, Jeffrey. I give you credit there. He does, man. I mean, that is like if you're Deuce Knight's agent and you really do care about him and not just how much money y'all can make together, you go, hey, man, look, I mean, I think you fit pretty good in what they do. It's kind of tailor-made for you, for your skill set. Would you consider that? But that's probably not happening. They're worried about the money. So that's where we're at.
I think we talked about this on the show, the call-in show. But like, if you're anywhere else right now and you're Deuce Knight, you're looking at Auburn going, "Damn, what a perfect scenario for me." They got Byron Brown. I can go in there. I can learn this offense for 1 year. Then I've got 3 years to be the big dog, or 2 if I'm bigger than I think I am. But I mean,
1.
Technically, you're right. Sure can.
This is not to say that he's not a fit for Ole Miss's offense. Sure he is. Okay, it could work out there just as well. I don't want to take away from that. They got a good offensive system over there that they're going to continue to have, it looks like. So
yeah,
that's part of it too. But I think when it comes back full circle and the staff is, they're trying to be hardline on their valuations. Probably at the end of the day, they continue to look at this situation and go, now, that valuation may be rising on what we think of him and what we think of him in the position he would be on this roster.
I tell you what, I'm pretty excited about. I'm excited about these 2 guys at running back. First of all, Dekai Davenport, he's signed, he's in. I like him. He's a bigger back, but I really like Bryson Washington from Baylor, who's scheduled to come in on Friday. And then Jacoby Jackson, who left his visit on Tuesday. He was headed to Wake. He had been to Ohio State. Love both of those cats, man. Really, and I think we talked, I don't know if it was on the air or off last night, but Cole, you were scouting Baylor last year. And
that was pretty much our entire offseason was scouting Baylor.
Yeah, and you loved Bryson. You loved what you saw from Bryson Washington.
Yeah, I actually listed him as one of the top 5 backs Auburn would see on the schedule, along with Jamarian Wilcox, who is in the portal right now. I love that guy. Would love to hear his name. Doubt we will, because this is a good group right here. If you can get 2 out of that 3,
Yeah.
you've done something. I would love to take 3. That's just me.
I hear you.
Don't know if they have the funds for it, but Washington's a stud, guys. That's the name you want to see on this list. When Alex Golesh at the introductory press conference says, we're going to run the football, I hear you guys like that here. That's the kind of guy you're going for. Okay, nothing against Davenport. I like him. I'm glad he's bringing him over. I think Auburn needs a back like that. It's been a minute.
A teacher in the room.
Yep, it's just that heavy runner. It's been a minute since they've had that. I'm ready to see that again in the offense. But Bryson Washington's got the NFL ability, I believe.
Just from what little I've read about him and what he did as a freshman, he set all kinds of records. He's like the best Baylor freshman running back they've ever had.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, very talented. Now, he took a step back this past year, and I don't think that was anything that had to do with him. It was more
they all did, right? Yeah.
Yeah, more of a byproduct of what was going on at Baylor. Got into a lot of shootouts where they were throwing the football a significant amount over the course of the season. So it just, it kind of got away from him. And I think they also split his carries a little bit more this year than they did the year prior.
And he still had 785 yards and 6 touchdowns rushing.
There you go. With all of that going on, right?
Right. 800 yards rushing, yeah.
Now, it's going to be some stiff competition. I think he's at Texas A&M right now. Is that correct?
Yep.
But A&M's got, a plethora of backs already on their roster. So is that a situation he wants to walk into? I don't know. I don't know. He's from Texas originally, so maybe that plays a factor. I tend to believe in this world of the transfer portal, it doesn't even matter anymore. Doesn't matter where you're from. You're going to go wherever, you can make the best deal. But he would be the one, obviously, that would raise the profile of the running back room to go along with Jeremiah Cobb. But the young man from Florida is also very talented. I mean, I liked what I saw on his junior tape. Rushed for over 500 yards in a backup role to Jaden Ball, who might be the best running back in the SEC.
Yeah, I think he is.
He's good, man. He's very good. But thick running back, originally out of Pensacola, somebody that gives you a little bit of pop out of the backfield. The interesting part to me is he is a senior. So is he looking for guaranteed playing time and snaps?
Yeah,
and I don't know.
His situation might be sort of strange because he's a one-year guy, but he has the injury problems. I mean, I think people take a step back with that. It's unfortunate for him, but it's the way it goes when you have injuries. That's part of the game, and you don't want to invest in somebody that could get hurt like that. But his 2024 season wasn't anything crazy. But 506 yards and 7 touchdowns, only 1 fumble that entire year. Man, he's a heavy back, like you said. Saw him in person. He's pretty stout. I've heard from Florida people, they loved him. They thought he was a good back. They just have Jaden Ball. Like, sorry, is what it is. That guy's the best running back in the SEC, like you said. So I think that's a good back. Like I said, I would love for Auburn to get all 3 of them.
Yeah, I'm with you, Cole. I mean, at some point, if you're stacking that many running backs in a room, are you talking like Hugh Freeze and how he valued wide receivers? Are you overvaluing that position at that point?
Well, listen, this staff values wide receivers. We're seeing that.
They do. I think they're spreading it out a little bit more, though. I think it's a little bit different.
Let me ask y'all this: Would you be disappointed if it was Jackson and Davenport and Washington was not part of this? Or would you feel pretty good about it?
I think I would feel okay about it, but I really like Davenport's character. I like his fit in the offense. I like him as a pass blocker, to be honest, Cole.
Mm-hmm.
And I like his unselfishness, because you have to have somebody in this offense, given who your quarterback is. There's the potential that your quarterback's your leading rusher on this team. He was the leading rusher last year for USF. I don't know that that's necessarily what you want to do, But Auburn once had a quarterback that was also its leading rusher by the name of Cameron Terrell Newton, and that season turned out pretty damn well. So
I'd say it's been an okay formula.
I
Actually.
think it's been an okay formula, right? Now I'm not in any way, shape, form, or fashion putting Byron Brown in that bucket, right? But what I'm saying is that you may not necessarily always be getting the ball in a situation where it's a zone read or split zone or what have you, right? Like it could be a situation where there's a lot of pulls involved in that or a lot of quarterback power being called given the looks that you're going to get. So you got to have somebody that's unselfish and somebody that's willing to block at times. And I think he understands that role. As Jeffrey stated, he's going to be a coach within that huddle or a coach within that room that can help teach other guys the offense. So for me, it's a value add on a lot of different levels, maybe even more intangibles than skill set to be able to bring him along.
Speaking of wide receivers looking out, I really do think Auburn would love to get to 7, believe it or not. They have 5, 1, 2. Well, they've got Corey Pettigrew signed, or at least announced. I don't know if they've announced them officially yet, but Christian Neptune, Jeremiah Coger, Chad Nimrod, all 4 of those guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're awaiting Keyshawn Singleton, who we all feel very good about ending up at Auburn. Noah Rogers will leave his visit on Thursday, and he is a guy they absolutely want. They want to get Singleton. They want to get Rogers. They want to get 6, and then maybe try to shoot for the fences, throw a Hail Mary up on another guy. But 7 wide receivers out of the transfer portal is absolutely a possibility, so everybody keep an eye on that. But as far as Noah Rogers goes, this is a former 5-star wide receiver in high school, and he is a big play guy. He's in Auburn. He is the former high school teammate of Byron Brown. Those 2 were buddied up during Noah's visit. So we could see, as many as 7 transfers in addition to the guys that they signed from high school. Big class.
Yeah. Noah Rogers is, I think he's a special talent. Like that's a big time. That's a big time player. I think he's had 2 years in a row where he had about 500 plus receiving yards at NC State. He was originally at Ohio State. That's where he committed and enrolled his first year, and then transferred to NC State. It's been good there. So, man, putting him with those guys there's a lot of options there. There's a lot of options there for Byron Brown. I mean, if you're gonna pay Byron Brown what we've heard is
reportedly 3.5.
Reportedly 3.5, but I just watched something on Alex Golesh where he goes, if you heard a number, it's probably not true when it comes to NIL. I do think it's incentive laden though, which is interesting. I think that's becoming part of these contracts now, where it's like if you get 10 wins, you'll get this, which I love. I love that. I think that should be in the contracts. So got to get him some weapons, right? And he trusts these guys from USF coming in. He knows they know the system, and probably I'm assuming he's had conversations like, if we can get one more guy, to add to the mix here, we could really open this thing up. Of course, lines of scrimmage, got to build that up too, which I know we're getting to, but it's get all these USF guys and work from there. Let's see where we're at.
Not a bad starting point, and which brings us, to Jonathan Eccles, to Xavier Newsome, who's coming over with Larry Scott from Howard. Both of those guys with 3 years to play. We've seen Donovan Green, who was reported to be visiting Auburn. He is from LSU with 1 year to play. Randy Pittman has already visited Auburn from Florida State. And then I think it was Chris Hummer mentioned Theo Melanomas is visiting or has interest in Auburn, or Auburn has. But as far as tight ends goes, dude, and I'm going to change that number. I could see Auburn taking, I think we talked about this earlier, I could see Auburn taking 4 of these guys.
Which is just wild, right?
I mean, not for a guy that, has coached tight ends and puts a lot of emphasis on that position. If you watch USF, they rotated 3 guys at H and tight end. I think they have like a tight end Y and a tight end H and then a tight end whatever. They got these 3 positions and they want people to fit into those. And they are so formationally like where Hugh Freeze and that offense was 12 personnel and they stuck in it. And it's like, ugh, will you ever change? They're changing constantly. Like all the time they come out in different looks. And tight ends are a big part of that. They like to put them out in space to block for the screens on the RPO game. So you got to have these guys that can then rotate in and do different things as tight ends.
And here's the thing about offense. We talked about if you're implementing this new system, DJ Durkin's got his defense. Like you're teaching the minority on defense, right? You've got the majority that knows DJ Durkin's system. You're not. The majority is teaching the minority on defense. On offense, you've got a more complex system, and you've got at least one guy, assuming Cole Skinner comes to Auburn as expected. You've got one guy in every one of these rooms, at least one guy. You've got the quarterback who's teaching. You've got Nakai Davenport who's helping teach. You've got a wide receiver room that fully understands what's going on. You've got Jonathan Eccles in that tight end room. And as far as the line goes, you've got Cole Skinner presumably coming to Auburn. But looking at offensive tackle and the number there, man, all these numbers are fluid to fluctuate. But, getting Stanton Ramil, is it Ramil or Ramil?
It's Ramil.
Ramil. Did I say Ramil?
I'm protecting you for future.
No, I said Ramil last night, so that's on me. And the good thing is,
here's how we're going to remember it, Alan Head. Look at Ramil.
Okay.
Ramil.
I can do that.
Yes.
But the good thing is I'll never have to interview Stanton. You guys do. So it's important that at some point we get it right. But
I have interviewed.
If somebody
Stanton.
has to be wrong, let it be me, please.
I've interviewed Stanton 4 times, I believe.
I just remember him.
Was that before or after his car broke down?
That was I remember that for sure.
There's some stories.
Stanton Ramillion. He is a projected, expected day 1 starter at left tackle, and I think Auburn is absolutely fired up about him.
Yeah, and understandably so. You're talking about a Big Ten starter, and yes, Michigan State was not good this past year, but when you watch some of the competitive reps that he's had against the teams that he's played against, this is a guy that can step into the SEC and play right away, and he's not going to look lost when he does it. I think sometimes you wonder, given the competition that guys see, are they ready to step into the SEC? He's a guy you don't have to worry about that. I think you feel comfortable whether he's your left tackle, whether he's your right tackle, doesn't matter. I really like this. I think it was a value add, but I'm with you, Cole. I mean, excuse me, Jeffrey. I think that my intel has been he is a left tackle and he's who they think is going to start this time next year.
He's a pass protector. I would call him a pass protection specialist.
Okay.
I think he's much better at that as he is as a run blocker. Like he's not bad as a run blocker, but he's definitely better as a pass protector. He's just got a high IQ when it comes to that. He did in high school. I mean, he comes from Thompson. I watched him several times there. So you come ready when you go in there from Thompson, right?
Grant Seagren was the first OV, if I'm not mistaken. He came in early. I think he was a Friday, Saturday. He's been on wasn't it? Isn't that right, Alan?
He was the first guy.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like day 1 of the portal opening.
Yeah. It was like, okay. He might have came in on Friday and left on Saturday. Day 1 and came in and left on day 2. Anyways, let me tell you something. I love this Joseph Simmons guy. I think he is beautiful. I mean, beautiful.
Is Simmons, from y'all's intel, is he a tackle? Is he a guard? Is he a combo guy? How do you guys see him? Or how does the staff see him?
I think he is. Go ahead, Cole.
For right tackle.
That's exactly. I think he is a tackle. I think he's a right tackle. I think those are your bookends if you could get them.
Okay.
But also, every offensive line coach is going to leave that open. Even we're going to move down here to the interior offensive line. I got to talk to Tegra, Tisha Bola. Yeah, I got it right, bitch.
Look at you.
And he even said, listen, that they're recruiting me as a swing guy. Wherever they need me, I can play guard, I can play tackle, I can play left, I can play right. You look at him, God, you talk about beautiful too, man. Joseph Simmons and Tegra are two of the prettiest offensive linemen or bodies to come in there for visits so far. I mean, they are what you want your offensive line to look like.
Yeah, I think if you're able to add Tegra to go along with Ramil, I would love for them to grab Simmons too in all of this. I feel pretty good about him after watching him on tape. And then Cole Skinner that's on there. I actually kind of like the way the offensive line would be filling out in that case. Right now, I'm still a little bit nervous about it to see how it shakes out. But all of those names, man, if you're able to get three of those guys, I like the way it's starting to shape up because I do like Jacoby Ward and Ty Buster that you have currently. I like Kel Ellis. Tyler Johnson's been there for a while. Maybe it's time for him to start stepping in and being a true part of that two deep. So, yeah, I think that would be good. That would be very good.
How many do you guys think they have to land in this class in this portal class to have functional depth? 5, 6
total of tackles in the interior?
Yes. Yeah. I think 6 probably, right?
That's what I've got. That's why I've got 6 to 8 on here.
6 you'd feel great if you're at 7.
Feel great if you're at 7. I think
you feel okay. You feel good enough at 6.
Yeah. Feel good enough at 6. Minimum is 5, right?
Yes. Absolute floor is 5.
Don't forget, you got Parker Pritchett, Wilson Zierer, Bear McWhorter, Mason Mathis, and Michael Lundy Foster. You got 5 coming in.
And 4 are already here.
That's a good number, coming in. So you're supplementing there. You got those guys that are going to develop. Wilson, we could see him in the 2 deep. I would not be surprised. So
could be. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And again, you talk about the guys that are still here. And that's the tough part about a coaching transition when you lose offensive linemen. And again, I think I talked about it last night. Those guys don't move very often, but when there is a coaching change, you do see that attrition. Auburn's only returning beyond the freshmen that you just signed 4 offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a really tough position to be in for this staff.
Yeah.
We talked about what kind of shape that room was in when Hugh Freeze and Jake Thornton came in. Well, it's right back in that same situation. The only difference is that you have 5 freshmen already locked in. Now it's about filling out those portal pieces. And if I remember right, I think Jake and Hugh had to sign 6 in that first class. So it's the more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
I can't leave out Hudson Powell, man. Hudson Powell, the first signee of the transfer signee announced officially by the University of the Alex Golesh era from Miami of Ohio, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Stud long snapper.
There you go. Maybe instead of running with Reed, we can get hiking with Hudson. What do you think?
Look, dude, I was in Waltall's tonight. Christian and me and Christian were up there, and Hudson came in there, was walking out with just a handful of stuff, like just loaded down, right? I was like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, man, running with Reed. They cut his access off. I had to come in here and get Reed couldn't get in the building. But the doors were wide open. He sent Hudson in there to get his stuff. But man, I tell you what, we talked about this last night. But the players and everybody, man, that there's a breath of fresh air inside that building, and I think there's a lot of excitement in that building. I think there's a lot of confidence in that building, and a lot of hope. I'm on board. I'm on board. And listen, there's still some things I want to see. Don't get me wrong, and I'm preparing myself. And Cole and I talked about this too. I think maybe Alan was. I'm not expecting these guys to what we said last night or other night to win signing day. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting to see. I'm let me tell you something. I'm expecting to see a really good football team that's going to lose.
I think that's fair. And the goal to me in year one is
I mean, they're not going to lose. They're not. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, you looked at Auburn lose under Hugh Freeze, and you're like, damn, like,
yeah.
It's just like they found ways to lose games.
Right. Thank you. Absolutely perfect.
They found ways to lose games, and what you want to see is competent coaching and competent play, and that these guys are executing. If they get beat, they just get beat, right? Like they played a better team. It's not a situation where,
yes,
a plucky Cal team comes in that you're far more talented than,
right,
and you get beat because you're undisciplined in multiple facets of the game and you're unprepared.
Right.
Realistically. And I had people that week tell me like, hey man, I don't know if they got a game this week. Like that's kind of the attitude in the building.
There's something grotesque, disgusting about losing when you are the more talented team. It just doesn't sit right with anybody. It's just done. I don't know how to explain it, but being that team that's building, right?
Yes.
Has a tough schedule ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And you see them start to put it together.
Yes.
And maybe it's a team that you look at and go, maybe they're not as talented as the team that you're about to meet. And that's going to happen next year. I can go ahead and prepare you for it. I'm going to do the star rating comparison again. I thought that was pretty good this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which Auburn was the more talented team more times than not, by the way, if you go by that. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be more even. I don't think Auburn's going to be like way below some of these teams. I just think it's going to be more even with some of the teams that perennially were not the teams that you should be even with, like a Vanderbilt.
Doesn't that make coaching even that much more important?
100% it does.
Discipline, false starts, holding on to the football.
Yeah.
Flags, penalties, gosh, all the unforced errors.
I think coaching and in-game management is more important than it's ever been, because the transfer portal has evened out equity in the sport as it pertains to talent. It truly has.
Yeah.
The one-time transfer, NIL, the transfer portal, it shifted the landscape. I mean, think about who's playing in the national semifinal. If I told you 6 years ago that Ole Miss in Indiana would be in a national semifinal, would you believe it?
After beating Alabama.
Yes.
And Georgia.
Yes.
I mean, if I told you Vanderbilt won 10 games.
And had a guy at the seat at the Heisman and has a winning streak over Auburn.
Correct. And was up for the Heisman.
Which goes back to your first argument, Alan, of bringing guys with him, which Clark Lee did.
I got clowned a little bit last year. I wrote a Pink's
perspective. Is that right? Hold on.
Clark brought in
the
state head coach who brought his quarterback.
There you go.
Jerry Keel.
That's who I was thinking of.
And Tim Beck. I think Tim Beck was from there too. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. Tim was the OC. Jerry was the head coach.
Well, I got clowned a little bit a year ago. I wrote a Pink's perspective on how Vanderbilt has changed my perspective of football. And people are like, oh, you're just setting us up for failure. Oh, I can't believe you wrote this about Vanderbilt. And they have changed things. Indiana has changed the narrative. Like it's I
love watching them play football.
I do too. It's not like they haven't spent money on their roster. Of course they have. So has Vanderbilt. Okay, but they figured out their fit. They went through some things to try to get there. And now they're starting to beat teams that they technically shouldn't be beating. right? According to the narrative, and it's great. It's awesome. I love that for the sport.
Well, it's because people too often have hung on to brands, right? We talked about this before the season, right? You look at teams that perennially have been really good football teams, right? But everything post 2020 has changed. Like January 2021, everything changed. What made you a good football coach before doesn't matter anymore. And if you don't believe that, look where Hugh Freeze is right now. You're talking about a guy that built his bones in the SEC during a time period where you could acquire as much talent as you could, and it didn't matter what your budget was because it was a different set of circumstances. And now finances come into play, how smart you are with your money, the in-game coaching strategy, how you build out your staff. As it pertains, and I'm not just talking about like on the field coaching staff, support staff, front office staff. I mean, there's just so many different layers to the way this game is played now. The agents that you have to deal with and how you manage those situations. And look, you've got some great agents. I mean, by the way, Drew Rosenhaus, the original Show Me the Money agent, is Byron Brown's agent, which shows you where college football is.
Wow.
But you've also got some real slapdicks involved that are agents. Dudes that are 28 years old that were an RA this time last year in a kid's dorm. They got a marketing degree, and all of a sudden, I'm an agent.
Gosh.
You know what I mean?
Somebody's college roommate is his agent.
Yes, that's a true story. Like, I'll tell you the player after we get off the air, man. You know what I mean?
Maybe it was you who told me that. All right, well, let's get to some how about yous for me in the show.
I'm going to say this, Jeffrey, real quick, and just having said all that, doing it at Auburn is going to be a different monster. I truly believe that. And I think we all agree with that you got an uphill climb here.
Sure.
I want to see how it goes, though. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm with you. To Edward's point, closing nugget here, I do think Auburn is going to have to be patient because the staff is going to try to do it a little bit differently. Auburn is used to a certain way, and I think people are going to have to wrap their minds around the game has changed some. Look what's on the field and don't get hung up so much in everything else, okay? Just give them the opportunity to show you a quality brand of football. If they don't perform, rip them to shreds, but let them get there first, okay?
Yeah, right.
How about you, man? I've had a lot.
Okay.
I failed to write down a lot. I've been slacking, but just throughout the show, some guys have come up, and I've written them down. So if you don't have any, Cole,
no, I saved so many, but I cut it down to 5.
Okay, cool. Let's do 5.
Go ahead.
My first, or you first?
Yeah, you go ahead, Cole.
Okay. Collected bacon.
Okay.
What a name, dude.
Did you see the AI pictures he was making about Byron Brown? He had one of, I don't know if it was him, but he had one of Jeffrey getting tackled by Byron Brown's agent.
Was that who that was?
I don't know if he made that one, but he followed up with another one of me making Byron Brown sign his letter. So it was funny. It had me laughing the other day. So Collected Bacon gets one. Dose, DOZ for AU gets one for his GIF use. He used the rock GIF that I love. It was actually, it was the one, I can't remember. Oh, it was the thread about Cantonment, Florida that I made about Christian Neptune. If you've never been to Cantonment, Florida, they have a paper mill there, and it's right by the road, and it's strong, son.
Oh, yeah?
And he used the one where the rock is smelling. I was like, okay, that's funny. So he gets one. Dose for AU. Leo the Tiger. Leo the Tiger had a funny one too. Flexoider. Flexoider.
Spell it again. I'm sorry. Let's do it again.
Flex. Flexoider. Flexoider. He was a voice of reason.
Okay.
And then Terry Bowden's tie.
I like that that username, man. It's always been one of my faves.
It is, and words of encouragement from him. So
Okay.
there you go.
Good ones. Alan Head.
Okay, I'm going to give out my first 3 to guys that I just appreciate, right? Or posters that I just appreciate because of what they provide to the boards. The first one is AU Duck Hunter. The next one is Rejects. And then the last is Crocodile 22. I have truly enjoyed his Portal Mega Thread.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's been good.
It's been good. And then the last one, I'm giving this guy a how about you because maybe it'll snap him out of his funk. He's just been the old negative Nancy, menthol Martha.
Yeah.
Jesus Beaver. Come on, man. Let it go, big dog. Just embrace the change. Okay?
I thought you were going to say life in the fast lane.
No, that Connor's not getting one from me.
We know.
There you go. Good stuff. And I will say that AU Duck Hunter is ×2. He was on my list. AU Duck Hunter ×2. Good stuff, man. He knows why. I appreciate that. Horace from 3, just because I like him.
Yes.
Horace from 3.
Let
me listen, you had the Jesus Beaver one. Look, this guy, man, he's 50-50 for me, man. Sometimes, it's like, God, shut up. And sometimes I'm like, man, I like this guy.
Yes.
Taylor Made too.
Okay.
Taylor Made is good.
He really is. Taylor Made too. How about you, big dog? Spots and Dots. How about you, big dog? Appreciate you, big dog. I love PFD. How about you?
Oh, make that a ×2, please.
×2 PFD. North Georgia, North GA Tiger.
That's another good one, yeah.
And then big how about you to Let's Shake on It milkshakes. They were at the football facility, and it's funny. I had on my Rivals hat, and I went up to I was like, yeah, let me get that chocolate milkshake. And the guy was like, chocolate? Can you get any more boring? I was like, well, damn, dude. He's like, cookies and cream. I said, cookies and cream, make it happen. All right. And so he came back to the window, and I was like, here's my credit card. And he goes, no, man, no. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, man, I'll give you a big how about you. And I kind of thought he was like a member or something, or like maybe it's all watch the show or something.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, man, thank you very much. And his wife was like, well, I was like, I'll give you my how about you on the show. And he came over and goes, well, where are you from? What's your name? What do you do? And I mean, he gave me a milkshake.
We're over here thinking we're YouTube famous.
Yeah, dude. I was like, do you want to sign the receipt? Do you want
to? You're like, you probably know me. I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. I went back in, and Christian was like, man, that milkshake looks good. I said, here, wear my hat down there. Give me a free one. But yeah, then those are good people. Him and his wife are in there making milkshakes today. Big how about you to those guys? Fantastic milkshake. Absolutely. Speaking of,
can you add anti-socialites?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Another good one.
Anti-socialite. Very good. I know I misspelled it, but I'll figure it out. Don't forget about Brunt, folks, man. We appreciate them sponsoring the show. Go to bruntworkwear.com. Use that promo code War Eagle, and you'll get $10 off at Brunt. Fantastic. Go get those Marins, man. Check them out at least. They got a couple of different options there. I like the Marins. But I got some cool stuff in there too, man. I'm rocking the hat here. All right, we're going to be back Monday night at 6:30 for the call-in show. Mondays during the off season will be our call-in show nights, and then we'll either come back on Wednesday morning or Thursday morning, whichever we can make happen for the recruiting show. If you haven't already, if you're just listening and you're wondering about auburnsports.com, we've got a special transfer portal special going on right now, a special transfer portal special, half price for a yearly subscription. Absolutely cannot beat it. Go check it out. So we'll see y'all back, hopefully, Monday night at 6:30 on the call-in show, and then again on the recruiting show. For Cole Pinkston, for Alan Head, for Zach in the back, who stayed in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay out of that left lane. See ya.